Do you want to know how much time you truly have left after 70? Not in fear, not in numbers, but in heartbeats, in laughter, in sunrises you still haven't seen. If you're listening to this, it means life still stirs inside you. That something within you is asking, how long will I walk this earth? And more importantly, how well? After 70, the years become different, not lesser, just softer. Each moment begins to shine with more weight, more meaning. We notice things we once overlooked. The warmth of a cup of tea, the sound of a grandchild's voice, the feel of morning light on aging skin. But the body changes too. Some of us still feel sharp, steady, alive. Others begin to slow, not just in steps, but in spirit. What makes the difference? Why does one person bloom at 80 while another fades at 72? Science, quiet and observant, has been watching, and it has found something remarkable. There are signs, 7 of them. Simple, almost invisible signals that your body gives you. Signs that can quietly predict how long and how well you might live after 70. These signs aren't based on superstition. They're not about expensive tests or scary diagnoses. They're found in everyday things. How you walk, how you sleep, how you laugh, how you love. This isn't a countdown. It's an invitation. Because once you recognize these signs, you could do something about them. You can shift, adjust, reclaim what's slipping away. You can plant small seeds of change and watch them grow into years. So come with me, not in a rush, but like a walk through the garden of your own life. Together, we'll explore each of these 7 signs, not with fear, but with wonder, with gentleness, with the kind of wisdom that only those over 70 truly understand. And who knows, perhaps by the end, you won't just know how long you might live. You'll remember why it's still worth living at all. Let's begin. Sign 1. The speed of your walk. The way you walk is the way you live. When you were younger, walking was just walking. You rushed to work. You strolled through shops. You hardly noticed your feet. But now, after 70, every step begins to carry a story. Your walking speed. Yes, something so ordinary may quietly hold a secret about how much longer your journey will continue. Researchers, with their careful eyes and quiet notebooks, have discovered something profound. The way you walk may predict how long and how well you'll live. Not your blood tests, not your family history, but your pace. You see, walking is more than movement. It is the orchestra of your heart, your lungs, your muscles, and your brain, all playing together. And when one instrument weakens, the rhythm of your steps begins to change. Let me tell you a story. 2 old friends, let's call them Walter and Joe, both 75. They used to walk together every morning after breakfast. Same path, same small talk. But over time, something changed. Joe still moved with ease, smooth steps, strong posture, steady breath. Walter began to slow. First a cane, then shorter walks, then none at all. Joe said, "I don't feel 75. Walter whispered, "I feel 90. What made the difference? Not luck, not money, simply movement. Science tells us this. Those who walk briskly after 70 often live longer. Their legs stay strong. Their heart beats more steadily. Their mind stays clearer. And yet, so many of us begin to slow down quietly. A few more pauses. A hand on the wall. That curb you used to step over? Now you hesitate. It's easy to dismiss. Oh, I'm just tired today. But your body is trying to tell you something. Dear one, your legs are not just for walking. They are your roots. They anchor you to independence. They carry you through gardens, down beaches, across dance floors, even if only in memory. And the beautiful part? You can strengthen them again. Even now, start small. A walk after breakfast. 10 steps more than yesterday. Hold onto a chair and rise on your toes. Stretch. Move your legs like you're reminding them. We're not done yet. Because walking isn't just about getting somewhere. It's about staying here, present, alive, whole. So, ask yourself gently, when was the last time you paid attention to your walk? Really paid attention? Are your steps still firm? Do your feet feel like old friends or strangers you no longer trust? If you feel yourself slowing, don't be afraid. Be aware. Because the slower you move, the faster life can slip past. But if you choose to walk, even slowly but steadily, you're choosing to stay, to keep dancing, even if no one is watching, to keep moving forward one step at a time. And sometimes that's all it takes to live just a little longer and a lot better. Sign 2. The strength of your grip is how you hold on to life. Take a moment right now. Look at your hands. What have they held in this lifetime? The soft hand of a grandchild, the warm handle of your favorite teacup, the steering wheel on long summer drives, the pen that wrote letters, dreams, perhaps even goodbyes. Your hands, they've built your world. But today, they may be whispering something you haven't yet heard. You see, science has discovered something simple, yet profound. The strength of your grip, the firmness of your handshake, your ability to open a jar, carry groceries, or hold a loved one close, is one of the strongest predictors of how long you'll live after 70. Not because of the hand alone, but because they reflect everything else. A steady grip often means strong muscles, healthy nerves, good circulation, and a resilient mind. A weakening grip can point to muscle loss, frailty, and even the early fading of independence. Let me tell you about Robert and Walter, both 78, both proud men, the kind who once fixed everything themselves. Robert never stopped using his hands. He lifted light weights, opened his own bottles, played cards with his neighbors every Thursday night. His handshake was still firm, warm, alive. He said, "As long as I can hold a cup of coffee steady, I know I'm okay." Walter, on the other hand, started to let things slip, literally and figuratively. The jar of pickles that used to be easy now stayed sealed. His hands trembled a bit when folding laundry. He laughed it off. "Oh, these old bones." But inside, he felt it, that slow retreat. And soon, it wasn't just his hands. It was his arms, then his balance, then his confidence. You see, your hands are your last defenders of independence. When you lose your grip on objects, on routines, on daily life, you begin to lose your grip on something deeper, the feeling that you are still in charge of your story. But there's hope, always. Muscle, like courage, can be rebuilt, even in your 80s, even in your 90s. You don't need a gym. You don't need a trainer. You need intention and a few small steps. Try this. Squeeze a softball in your hand while you watch the sunset. Practice twisting the cap off bottles, even if slowly. Lift a small bag of rice, or carry your groceries one arm at a time. These aren't chores. They're messages to your body. I'm still here. I still hold on. Because in the end, how you hold things now, oskun, open, or grandchild, might quietly echo how long you'll be able to hold on to life. In some Easter traditions, the hand is seen as a map of your entire being. Fingers represent energy flow, breath, emotion. And to lose strength in your hands is like the river beginning to slow. But a river can be stirred. A flow can return. So take your hand right now and close it gently. Then open it. Feel the quiet power in that simple act. You're not powerless. You're not fading. You're not done. You are still holding on to life, to love, and perhaps to more years than you thought. Because when you strengthen your grip, you don't just grab hold of a cup or a bag. You grasp something even greater, a future. Sign 3. Balance is a quiet force that keeps you on your feet and in life. There's a quiet wisdom in standing still. Feet planted, back straight, eyes steady. But did you know that your ability to stand on one leg, even for just 10 seconds, might quietly reveal how long you'll continue standing in this life? Yes, balance. That gentle dance between strength and stillness, between body and brain. It's something we rarely think about until we begin to lose it. Science now tells us, if you can't stand on one leg for 10 seconds without wobbling, it may signal not just weaker muscles, but something deeper, a decline in neurological function, coordination, and even a greater risk of early mortality. Think of Carol and Nancy, 2 women, both in their 70s. Carol always moved with grace. She practiced yoga in the mornings, walked barefoot through the garden, and often stood with one leg tucked behind the other as she watered her plants. Her movements were light, like a poem you could watch. Nancy, on the other hand, had never paid much attention to balance. She stopped stretching years ago. She moved more cautiously now, often brushing her hand along walls as she walked, just in case. And when she tried to lift one foot, even for a few seconds, she found herself tilting, heart racing, unsure why she felt so unsteady. But here's the thing. It wasn't about age. It was about connection between her mind and her body, between her muscles and her memory. Good balance, you see, isn't just about strong legs. It requires a sharp mind, focused attention, and trust in yourself. It's a full-body whisper of, I'm still in harmony with myself. Losing balance isn't failure. It's information. It tells us the nervous system may be slowing, that muscles may need strengthening, that the brain may need more movement, more engagement, more love. But here's the gentle gift. Balance can be rebuilt, just like peace, just like hope. You don't need fancy routines. You need presence. Try this right now if you can. Stand up slowly. Lift one foot just a little off the ground. Count 1, 2, 3. Can you reach 10? Maybe yes. Maybe not yet. But that moment, that practice, is how you begin again. Simple exercises can restore the strength you thought was gone. Stand on one leg while brushing your teeth. Walk heel to toe across your hallway, like on a tightrope. Try gentle Tai Chi, where every move is like a prayer in motion. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and remind your body, we still belong to this earth. In Japanese philosophy, there's a word, shibumi. It means effortless balance, quiet strength, beauty in the unseen. That's what balance is. Not flashy, but essential. The unseen thread that keeps you grounded. So don't ignore the little stumbles. The need to grip the table when turning. The quiet hesitation before standing up too fast. Your body isn't failing you. It's simply asking for help. A little more movement. A little more trust. And when you listen, when you choose to strengthen that quiet core again, you're choosing to stay upright, not just in body, but in spirit. Because life still has moments that want you to stand in them, fully. Stillness is not the end. It's the center from which all life moves. So stand, even for 10 seconds. Stand like you still belong to the sky. Because you do. Sign 4. Your sleep. The silent healer of the night. Each night, when the world goes quiet, and the birds rest, and even the trees seem still, your body enters a place no one else can see. Sleep. It's not just rest. It's not just turning off. It is healing. Deep, invisible, sacred. And after the age of 70, the way you sleep may quietly determine how long and how well you will continue to live. You see, sleep isn't passive. While you lie in silence, your body works like a quiet caretaker, repairing cells, healing inflammation, strengthening memory, restoring your immune system, cleaning toxins from the brain. Researchers have discovered that poor sleep quality in older adults is directly linked to a higher risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, depression, cognitive decline, weakened immunity, and even earlier death. But when you sleep deeply, consistently, peacefully, your body becomes a garden that keeps blooming even in late autumn. Let me share the story of two men, Henry and Bill, both in their mid-70s, both retired, both kind, thoughtful, and full of life. Henry has a ritual, not strict, but sacred. He puts away his phone after sunset. He drinks chamomile tea. He listens to soft music, reads a few pages of poetry, and then lies down at the same hour each night. He sleeps about 7 hours, uninterrupted. He wakes up feeling whole. Bill, on the other hand, struggles. He watches TV late into the night. His mind races. He wakes up 3, sometimes 4 times. Sometimes from aches, sometimes from worry. And when morning comes, he doesn't feel rested, just older. Henry's days are steady, focused. Bill's are foggy, tiring, slow. It's not about luck. It's about the night. The night, dear friend, is not something to survive. It is where your tomorrow begins. And yet, after 70, many people accept poor sleep as normal. They say, it's just part of aging. But science tells us that is not true. Aging changes your sleep. Yes, but you can still sleep well. And when you do, your risk of illness drops, your memory strengthens, and your body begins to feel less tired of being tired. So, how do you know if your sleep is quietly stealing years from you? Ask yourself, do I wake up several times a night? Do I struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep? Do I feel exhausted, even after 7 to 8 hours in bed? Has my sleep worsened over the years? If you said yes to one or more of these, your body may be whispering, "Help me heal." But don't worry, sleep can be restored, like soil that needs water, like a clock that simply needs winding. Here are gentle, proven ways to invite deeper rest. Create a bedtime ritual. Your body loves rhythm. Avoid screens an hour before bed. Light confuses your brain. Drink calming teas like valerian root or chamomile. Get sunlight during the day. It resets your inner clock. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet, like a soft cave for your soul. Avoid heavy meals or caffeine in the evening. Move your body during the day. Even a short walk helps deepen sleep at night. And if the problem runs deeper, if you suspect conditions like sleep apnea, restless legs, or anxiety, please speak with someone. There is no shame in seeking help. Your sleep is worth protecting because your life depends on it, quite literally. In ancient Chinese medicine, the hours between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. are believed to be when the liver and blood restore, when the heart heals, when spirit returns to the body. So if you're lying awake each night, staring at the ceiling, not just tired in your bones, but in your soul, please know you are not alone. The night is not your enemy. It is your sanctuary. And the better you care for your sleep, the longer and more peacefully you may walk through this life. So tonight, do one kind thing for your future. Turn down the noise, dim the lights, thank your body, and rest, because every good morning begins with a kind good night. Sign 5. Your appetite is not just hunger, but a conversation with life. At first, it seems so simple. You eat when you're hungry. You skip a meal when you're not. You nibble here, sip there, and move on. But after 70, your appetite becomes more than a signal of hunger. It becomes a mirror of vitality, a quiet reflection of how alive and how connected your body still is. What you eat, how much, how often, can gently foretell how many strong, independent years lie ahead, or how soon your strength may start to fade. You see, a healthy appetite in later life is not just about eating. It's about absorbing life, nutrients, energy, joy, flavor, nourishment, memory. But a sudden change in your eating patterns, less hunger, skipping meals, unexplained weight loss, might be one of the earliest signs that your body is asking for attention. Let me introduce you to Margaret and Susan. Both are 74. Both mothers. Both wise. Both survivors of their own storms. Margaret still loves to cook. Not extravagant meals, just warm, simple dishes. She shops for fresh food once a week, prepares it slowly, listens to music while stirring soup. She eats 3 times a day, nothing fancy but enough. She says food helps her feel part of the world. Susan, on the other hand, started to change. Her appetite disappeared quietly. She began skipping breakfast. Lunch became a slice of toast. Dinners turned into crackers and tea. "I'm just not hungry," she'd say. But what she didn't realize was that this loss of hunger wasn't just about taste. It was her body's quiet cry of fatigue, of inflammation, even of sadness. Her muscles weakened. She lost a few pounds, not many, but enough to matter. She felt colder, more tired, less herself, because food, dear soul, is not just fuel. It's memory. It's medicine. It's what keeps your cells growing, your bones strong, your immune system alert. Science now shows that older adults who eat less, especially less protein, fiber, and healthy fats, are more likely to experience frailty, falls, slower wound healing, depression, cognitive decline, and even earlier mortality. The body, much like a fire, needs tending, not just at 40, not just at 60, but especially at 70, 80, 90, and beyond. When appetite fades, it can mean slow digestion, hormonal shifts, changes in smell or taste, side effects from medications, or even early signs of illness like dementia or depression. But most importantly, it often means life is beginning to feel less appetizing in every sense of the word. So here's what you can do. Rebuild small rituals around food. Eat at the same time each day. Light a candle. Turn on soft music. Make meals feel sacred again. Focus on color and texture. Add berries, greens, seeds, oils, nuts. Let your plate look like a garden. Prioritize protein. Eggs, beans, fish, lentils, yogurt. These protect your muscles, your mind, and your balance. Drink water regularly. Many older adults mistake thirst for lack of hunger. Eat smaller meals, more often if large ones feel overwhelming. Eat with others if you can. Appetite is not just physical, it's emotional. Conversation is nourishment too. Use herbs and spices. As taste buds dull with age, flavor can reignite joy. And if none of that helps, don't wait. Speak to your doctor. Ask about nutrient deficiencies, medication effects, or digestive issues. Because eating is not optional. It's the foundation of everything your body is still trying to do. Heal, walk, laugh, remember, connect. In Buddhism, mindful eating is a form of meditation. Every bite is a gift. Every meal, a moment of gratitude. So if you've noticed your appetite shrinking, ask yourself, when did I stop feeling hungry? Not just for food, but for life. And then gently, lovingly, return to the table. Even with something small. Even with something warm and familiar. Because life still wants to nourish you. You're still needed. You're still growing, slowly, inwardly, deeply. So eat, not just to live, but to love your body, this faithful companion that has carried you so far. Sign 6. How you handle stress. The inner weather that shapes your years? Stress. Such a small word, but inside it waves. Sometimes quiet, sometimes crashing. And after 70, those waves can feel heavier, more frequent, more difficult to surf. But here is a quiet truth. How you respond to stress, not how much stress you have, but how you carry it, can quietly predict how long and how peacefully you will live. You see, chronic stress is more than emotion. It is a chemical storm. It raises blood pressure, weakens the immune system, speeds up aging, and increases the risk of nearly every age-related illness, from heart disease to Alzheimer's. But peace? Peace heals. Let me tell you about John and Richard. Both are 76. Both live alone. Both have faced their share of storms, illness, loss, money worries, grown children drifting far away. John learned to breathe through it. He sits by the window every morning, watching the clouds, sipping tea, writing in a small notebook where he names 3 things he's grateful for. He goes for slow walks, talks to the cashier at the market, laughs at small things. I've learned, he says, not to hold the storm too tight. Richard, though, clenches. He watches the news, angry. He worries constantly about the future, about money, about things no one can control. He often sighs loudly, sleeps poorly, eats without tasting. And when a small thing goes wrong, like misplacing his keys, it feels like a disaster. Both men face the same winds, but one bends, the other breaks. You see, your body listens to your emotions. When stress becomes a companion instead of a visitor, it leaves traces in your heart, your breath, your memory. It creates inflammation, and inflammation is the silent architect of decline. But here's the gift. Just as stress wears down the body, peace rebuilds it. So ask yourself gently, when life surprises me, do I tighten or soften? Do I hold on to worries for hours, days? Do I find myself replaying the same anxious thought like a broken song? If the answer is yes, it doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. But it also means it's time to change your inner weather. Here are small, powerful ways to do that. Breathe deeply. When stress hits, pause. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Repeat 3 times. This alone can calm your nervous system. Name what you feel. Say quietly, this is frustration. This is fear. Naming it gives you space from it. Speak kindly to yourself. When your inner voice becomes critical or harsh, speak to yourself like you would to a dear friend. It's okay. I'm doing my best. This moment will pass. Go outside. Even 5 minutes under a tree can lower cortisol levels. Create small rituals of calm. Light a candle. Listen to music from your youth. Pray, meditate, or simply sit in stillness with your hands in your lap. Talk to someone. Stress shrinks when spoken aloud. A friend, a counselor, a grandchild. Sometimes all it takes is a voice that says, "You're not alone. Let go of what you can't control." This is perhaps the greatest wisdom age gives us. To understand that worry does not prevent pain, it only steals peace. In Buddhist teachings, there's a concept called equanimity. It means meeting life with a steady heart, not cold, not passive, but balanced. Like the ocean, calm on the surface, deep beneath. And you, dear friend, can have that heart. Even now, especially now, because the more peacefully you walk through the world, the more gently your body walks with you. John, the man who watches the sky each morning, once said, "I don't avoid storms anymore. I just stopped living in them." So I ask you, when the winds rise, do you brace with fear or breathe and let them pass through? Because the years ahead may still bring waves. But if your soul becomes the lighthouse, no storm can shake your foundation. And that is the secret to aging well. Not the absence of stress, but the presence of grace. Sign 7. Your relationships. The invisible web that keeps you alive. There are many things that keep us going as we age. Food, sleep, exercise, medicine. But one of the most powerful forces, often overlooked, is also the most human. Connection. Not internet connection. Human connection. The kind that happens when someone remembers your name. When someone listens. When someone says, "I'm glad you're here." Researchers across the world have now confirmed what ancient wisdom always knew. Loneliness shortens life, and meaningful relationships, even just one or two, can extend it. After 70, some people feel surrounded. Family visits. Neighbors wave. Old friend call. Others sit in silence. Rooms filled with stillness. Calendars without appointments. Phones that rarely ring. You may not feel lonely in a dramatic sense, but small disconnections, fewer visits, shorter conversations, longer stretches of solitude begin to wear on the heart in quiet ways. Let me tell you about Eleanor and Barbara. Both are 78. Both live in the same neighborhood. Both lost their husbands in recent years. Eleanor kept reaching out. She joined a small book club, even though she didn't always read the books. She called her sister every Sunday. She helped out at the community garden. Some days she was tired, but she said, "I just need to see another face." Barbara slowly withdrew. She told herself people were too busy. She stopped returning calls. She watched TV most of the day. When asked how she was, she often replied, "Fine," but her eyes looked distant. Months passed. Eleanor began laughing again, softly but sincerely. Barbara became quieter, thinner, older than her age. It wasn't about personality. It was about connection, or the lack of it. Science shows us that older adults who maintain strong social ties, whether through friends, family, or community, are less likely to develop heart disease, less prone to depression, more mentally sharp, physically stronger, and more likely to live significantly longer. Loneliness, on the other hand, has been called the new smoking, not in metaphor, in measurable harm. Because when the body feels isolated, it goes into quiet distress. Inflammation rises. Cortisol, the stress hormone, increases. Sleep suffers. Appetite drops. The immune system weakens. And slowly, without visible wounds, the body begins to pull back. But human connection, even brief moments, reverses that decline. The touch of a hand, a shared laugh, an old memory spoken aloud. These are not small things. They are medicine. So ask yourself, when was the last time you had a meaningful conversation? Do you feel seen, heard, remembered? Do you reach out or wait to be reached? If you've grown more isolated in recent years, you're not alone. And you're not broken. It's never too late to reconnect. Here are gentle ways to rebuild your invisible web. Call one person each week, even just to say hello. Write a letter, the kind that takes time and is felt in the heart. Join a small group, a reading circle, a walking club, a spiritual gathering. Volunteer, even 1 hour a week. Helping others restores our own sense of value. Speak to neighbors. Even a wave can grow into friendship. Talk to yourself kindly, because the most important relationship begins within. And perhaps most importantly, don't be afraid to need people. So many older adults say, I don't want to be a burden. But you're not a burden. You are a blessing with stories, wisdom, humor, and light. Let people in. Let yourself belong again. In many indigenous cultures, elders are not pushed aside. They are held at the center, a source of history, healing, and hope. You still carry that. You still deserve to be seen. And even if some people have drifted away, even if some connections have faded, there's still hands waiting to hold yours. Even one deep connection can anchor you. Because in the end, the longest-lived people in the world, in Okinawa, in Sardinia, in the mountains of Costa Rica, all have one thing in common. They do not age alone. They eat together, sing together, grieve and celebrate together. And that, more than vitamins or treadmills or even genetics, is what keeps them alive. So if you've been sitting in quiet rooms for too long, if your soul aches for the sound of another voice, know this. It is not too late. Reach out, reconnect, reclaim the web of life that quietly holds you every single day. Because the years ahead may still be many, and they are meant to be shared. Now that we've walked together through these 7 signs, 7 quiet messengers from your own body and life, perhaps you're beginning to see things more clearly, not with fear, but with compassion. Because what these signs truly offer is not prediction, but invitation. An invitation to reconnect with your body, to respect your rhythm, to honor the years behind you, and to gently shape the years still ahead. Let's remember them one more time, not as warnings, but as companions. 1. Your walking speed, not just how fast you move, but how confidently you face the world. 2. Your grip strength, how you hold on, not just to objects, but to life itself. 3. Your balance, the invisible harmony between your body and mind. 4. Your sleep, the sacred time when your soul and cells heal in silence. 5. Your appetite, not just for food, but for presence, joy, and nourishment. 6. Your stress response, the weather inside you, shaping how your heart endures. 7. Your relationships, the web of connection that quietly keeps you from disappearing. These signs are not meant to frighten you. They are not judgments or verdicts. They're like lanterns in a twilight forest, lighting the way back to yourself, to your strength, to your choices, to your future. Because here is what matters most. Most of these signs can be changed. Not overnight, not perfectly, but gently, slowly, truly. You can walk more, breathe deeper, sleep softer, eat better, let go of stress, rebuild connection, and remind your body and your soul that it is still wanted, still needed, still capable of blooming. It's never too late to live better. Even if the road has been long, even if you've slowed down, even if you've been lonely, you're still becoming. And perhaps that's the deepest truth of aging. We do not stop growing. We do not stop maturing. We simply begin to grow inward, into wisdom, grace, stillness, light. So as you reflect on these 7 signs, ask yourself gently, which of these speaks to me today? Where do I feel the most invitation to change? Then take one small step, not for anyone else, but for you, for the life that still lives inside you, waiting patiently for your care. And if no one else has told you lately, let me be the one to say, you are still here, you are still worthy, and there is still time, not just to exist, but to live well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking this path with me. May the years ahead surprise you with their tenderness. And may you always remember, your story isn't over. You are still the author.